You approach playing them 2 times in such a short period of time?
Really haven't given it much thought. Just try to play well Tuesday, and then we'll worry about the second time probably after the game Tuesday and Wednesday. But I've looked at it more. How do we approach the whole week from a practice standpoint, rest standpoint, differently than just playing TCU? We played Iowa State last year the same way, and it worked out okay for us. But certainly, we're playing a team that's capable of giving us all kinds of problems, as evidenced by what they did to Texas Tech on Saturday. So we've got to go down there. It's a one game season right now for us, and go down there and play that one, and it'll be a 1-game season on Thursday and then again on Saturday.
Anything gained or learned or that you remember from how your players went through that experience with Iowa State?
Not really. We played great the first game and made shots. But I don't know if there's anything to it. I would probably say rather play away home than home away. But I don't know that there's no scientific reason for that. It just seems like to me that when you're comfortable with an opponent, maybe the preparation won't be as intense the second time you play them. So I've always thought, having that laser focus is more important being on the road. But, who knows if that's even accurate. That's just a thought.
How conscientious do you have to be with guys' minutes? I know Jack played like 33 at Baylor. Is that kind of a conscious decision?
Is who played 33?
Jack played 33.
Yeah.
I know he's in foul trouble.
Yeah.
Is that conscientious with that throughout the week?
No, Ochai is a different dude when it comes to conditioning. So he runs more than anybody else in a game. He to me, he plays harder than everybody because of the way he runs the floor. Even though other guys play hard, don't get me wrong, but nobody runs the floor like he does in our program. So, and that takes out more energy to go from stop to full speed many times a game. So I think he can probably physically play less than maybe CB can, or even Jalen, just because of that one reason. But I'm not worried about his minutes this week. I'm not. David's minutes I'd be more concerned with, but the other and Juan's, but the other guys I'm not concerned about minutes.
All screen defense, we hear so much about that. What are some things your guards can do better?
Well, I think our guards can do a better job of guarding the ball hot and jamming it so it's easier to get open. We have a big and this isn't just a point guard. This is our wings have a tendency that when you don't guard the ball hot, when the screen's set, you go through his chest. When you shouldn't be. You should be, lead leg is over the body and trying to not be screened as opposed to being screened. And then every time you're screened, then the big man has to react. And the longer the big man has to stay, makes your ball screen defense worse. So it's if you go back and look at it, teams that have guarded us well is because the screen never really materializes. I think that's one thing our guards can do better at. After going back and looking at the tape, there were a lot of things they did where they picked on that made us look worse than what we actually were, is when they picked on us and they threw it back to a guard. Let's just be real. So, and we still guarded David with the 5. You throw it back to Sohan and Brown, and they have the distinct advantage driving it downhill. That's not going to happen very often. But I think that when Thamba was in the game, we made him make a couple of shots that would probably be shots we'd be okay with. Whereas when Brown and Sohan got those same opportunities, they one step and got around us or we fouled them or whatever. So I didn't think it was quite as bad as what I thought it was. I think they took advantage of us playing big. One thing we can do, we can switch more, play KJ or Jalen at the 5 and switch more. But we could have done that the other day, because we probably didn't get as much out of David offensively, not to his fault, just because we didn't get him the ball very well, that maybe what we gave up defensively, having him guard Sohan or Brown was probably played to their advantage more than it played to ours. But, bigs being active, guards getting through screens, that would be the thing I would say would probably do the best job of.
Mike Miles, solid year, had a great game on Saturday with rebounds, points, steals, and assists. So your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's a good player. He hasn't really shot it consistently well, like he's capable of shooting it. And then Saturday he went off. But that is more him than the other. I mean, he's a good player. He's capable of putting up big numbers, and that'll obviously be a huge emphasis on us. The other thing that's different with TCU than in the past, they've always been pretty athletic. They're very athletic. Adding Ball and Miller to the mix, that makes them probably about as athletic. I think Oklahoma State overall is still probably the quickest team in our league because they play so small. But TCU has a very athletic group.
Hey, Coach. One thing that seemed to kind of feed into your philosophy is that if you defend, it leads to offense. Is that what you saw out of Miles when Dixon talked about him after the game? You talked more about his defense than he did points scored.
Yeah. I don't know what, that also can be coach speak, because that Jamie's been harping on him to be better in a certain area. And so when he is, obviously give him praise. I thought he was equally good on both. But to your point, if you look at our game against Baylor, to prove your point, good defense led to easy baskets. We're up 24-11. It could have been 32-11. I mean, as many wide open looks and stuff. But that was because we got stops and we could run and get shots before the defense got set up. In the second half, when they scored, we didn't get anything in transition hardly. So I thought TCU did a really good job against Texas Tech, especially, in the most important times of the game. Playing defense, which led to them being able to play before Tech's defense got set.
Can you talk a little bit about the Big 12 conference race right now and how important this week is for you guys?
Well, it'll determine if we win it or not. I mean, we control our own destiny. I mean, if we take care of business in all three games, and we don't need any help. If we win 2 out of 3, we can get a piece of it. And you go 1 and 2, then you're begging for help. So this is a big week for us. On paper, you think we put ourselves in a pretty favorable position because 2 of the 3 are at home, but home games don't guarantee anything. So I don't want to say we missed an opportunity as much, because that takes credit away from Baylor, because they deserved to win the other day. But we could have been in a much, much, much more favorable position if we had closed the game better. But, bottom line is we would have given anything at the start of the season to say we got a 1-game lead with a week left. So the guys have done what we hoped that they would do. It could have been a little bit sweeter, but still yet we have everything still to play for in front of us, and we can control our own destiny. So that's about all you can hope for being a competitor, is to, have a league going into the back 9, and you got to play well. And if we play well, we'll be okay. If we don't play well, then we'll be disappointed and sad. But it's fun to be in this position rather than not be in the position.
Hey, Coach, they lost 7 to transfers. And
Hang on. Go ahead, Dave.
It looks like you've got more choices with the rotation. Is that a matchup thing going in? And where would you like to be as far as numbers in your rotation heading into March?
I think 9 would be a max. Be real candid with you. I thought our bench was just okay the other day, but I'm not sure I gave him a lot of opportunities to play through, maybe just being okay. Joe didn't play bad, but he just didn't really do anything and really didn't get much of an opportunity after that. And I thought Remy was fine. Was fine, did a couple of things offensively in the first half, and, defensively had a couple of blunders, but I thought he was fine. We got to get more out of Mitch, and So I think the other day, what we play, like 11 or 12? How many did we play? Played 11, didn't we?
Yeah.
Played 11 the other day. That's not perfect. But I thought KJ actually came in and made a really, really good finish in the second half. You know, the first half, that was a pretty easy finish for him, but second half, that was through contact. I thought he did some good things, but I really, really would like to get it down to, if Remy's back, you know, that's going to make it 9. If he's not back, that would make it 8. And all signs are he'll be back.
His knee responded as far as you know?
As far as I know, we didn't practice yesterday. So he didn't do anything to my knowledge yesterday other than get treatment. Said he did well. So I'll know more here in an hour or so. Okay, who was the caller on the
Yeah, it's
Zoom?
me.
Okay.
It's hard to hear, so sorry about that.
No, I just wanted to talk to Dave Lawrence more than you. That's all that was.
Well, that's understandable. It makes sense. TCU had 7 transfer out last year and 8 transfer in. The difference is they didn't bring in 8 super seniors. They had a lot of young guys come into the program that only been playing a year or two. So Jamie Dixon should have them for a couple of years. Just observations on their roster makeup with so many new guys, but young guys.
Yeah, I like their team. I tell you what, the big fella inside has improved so much and has worked so hard to get his body right, at least from the outside looking in. He's improved so much and has such good hands. But I like the roster. They're very athletic. You know, Ball and Miller bring something to the table that maybe they hadn't had consistently. That athletic wing that can go get their own shot and great on the glass. But if you look at their stats, you know, they're the best rebounding team statistically in our league. And their leading rebounder average is 6. They're all getting 4 or 5 a game. They all are. And that's a sign of a good rebounding team. So I would rather go against a team where one guy got 12 than knowing that 3 guys were going to go get 4 or 5. Yeah, they're athletic and they all get to the glass.
Oh, what do you think of the top 6 teams all losing on Saturday and what that does to the national seedings?
You know what? I don't know that it really does much. I think there's probably some teams that benefit from it. You know, Duke could benefit from it. You know, you could make a case that other people that didn't lose could benefit from it. But, you know, it seems like to me, whenever you're in a league and you play the top tier teams in your league on the road, there's always a good chance anybody can lose. And that was even evidenced by St. Mary's, so beating Gonzaga. So I don't know that it does a lot in changing the big picture, but I think it does prove that in this particular year, you know, you could probably have Gonzaga that you can make a case it's been better than everybody consistently. You can make that case with Arizona. And of course, Auburn's been terrific, but you see now there's 10 or 12 teams or 16, whatever it is, that on a right night, they can beat anybody that may be projected to be, you know, a top, you know, 5 or 6 teams. So it's going to be it'll be a fun tournament.
When you say get more out of Mitch, what can you get? What
Defensive presence, you know, he made a couple of he knows this. I mean, we talked about it. Made a couple of really poor plays defensively where they shoot layups, and you know he's the guy. And I think that that happened too much. When you look at the game the other night, they scored 80, although it wasn't an 80-point game, and everything because there was free throws late and stuff like that. But they scored a legitimate 70, 72 points. They scored a legitimate 70, 72 points. And if you'd have told me that Flagler and Kinjo would only have whatever number it was, what was it, 24 or whatever, I would think, well, how'd they get to 70? You know, you don't count on Thamba and Sohan combining for 34, 35, whatever it is. So they just played really well. Sohan's a player, you know, he's a player. So we can do some things better, but I don't know that I think they played really well. And Thamba getting in foul trouble And what did he have 4 or 3 relatively early in second half? I can't remember, but although they had decided they were going to play Sohan at the 5, they had decided that. You could tell because they did it the first half, but man, that was a big difference. That was a big difference, and it totally eliminated defensively what we thought would be our best lineup. If I could go back, I would change a couple of things I'd do differently.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, guys.
Thanks.